Investment advisory services offered through SWAN-Capital Management, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. SWAN-Capital Management, LLC, and SWAN-Capital are independent entities.
What your money would say. Andrew McNair. Money Talks. Are you listening? Money Talks. Are you listening? Money Talks. Are you listening? What your money would say with Andrew McNair.
We're live here on What Your Money Would Say. I'm your host, Andrew McNair. And for the next 30 minutes, every Saturday from 12:30 to 1 o'clock, we'll be taking financial chickens and making them financial swans. Well, what necessarily is a financial swan? Well, a financial swan is someone that sleeps well at night, and that's what SWAN stands for. And we believe at SWAN-Capital, my wealth management firm, and What Your Money Would Say, that as a retiree, you deserve to sleep well at night because you've worked your entire life to get to this point. You've worked 30 plus years. You saved in your 401k plan. And we're even able to provide for your family by putting 3 kids through college and giving to your local charities and church along the way. It's time that you sleep well at night. No longer should you worry about the stock market going up and down like a roller coaster, or worrying about April 15th. Are the taxes going to kill me this year? Or am I going to run out of money in assisted living or nursing home? And, oh, God forbid, my in-laws run out of money and move in with us. So we don't want to become the sandwich generation. So this is a great segue into today's topic, which is going to be long-term care expenses and offsetting them by VA benefits. And I feel it's my duty as a financial advisor for my clients to share with them how to maximize their government benefits that they're eligible for. Because as a financial advisor, it's my job to protect your nest egg. It's my job to preserve your estate and ultimately transfer your legacy to your kids and your charities. And one of the ways to preserve an asset is by applying for VA benefits. And I'm going to share with you a VA benefit called VA Aid in Attendance that helps offset up to $25,000 a year tax-free for a veteran, and also up to $13,000 for a widow. So you don't want to miss today's show. But before we do that, I want to share with you a few upcoming events. And that, first and foremost, is our Social Security class at Pensacola State College. It's going to be January 21st and 23rd at 6 to 7 o'clock. The tuition's about $20, and I'm basically taking retirees and people over the age of 55 back to school on Social Security. We're going to answer some of your important common questions that I hear all the time from my clients, such as, will Social Security be there for me? When should I take Social Security? 62, 66, or 70? Is my Social Security benefit taxable? What if I work? Very important questions that as a retiree you may need to be informed about. So you don't want to miss that workshop. It's January 21st and the 23rd at 6 to 7 o'clock. Also, we have a few VA workshops. Basically what I'm going to talk about today live in person. The first one is the VBP workshop at Sable House. This is on actually the 13th at 6 o'clock. That's the Sable House Assisted Living on Nama Road. And we also have one the next day at Broadview Assisted Living, which is on the 14th at 6 o'clock, and that's behind West Florida Hospital. So you don't want to miss those events. Before I jump into today's topic, I want to talk to you about long-term care expenses. Long-term care expenses are one of those dirty little secrets for retirees. Most retirees expect a cost of living adjustment of maybe 3 to 4%. They expect that expenses are just going to go up gradually. However, long-term care insurance kind of breaks that mold. Long-term care expenses can go up anywhere from 5 to 8%, and they're already high enough. If you look at Pensacola and Mobile area, it's going to cost you anywhere from $2,500 to $4,500 just for assisted living expenses. And that's saying that your expenses never increase. How about skilled nursing? That's $200 a day, a little over $6,000 a month. So are you protected? What's your plan? Many families, when I ask this to my prospective clients, they don't have a plan. Their plan is they've saved up a nest egg and they're praying and they're hoping that they never get sick or get old. But what's the reality of that happening? We're all going to get old, and we have to prepare for it. It's just part of life. And we want to make sure that we don't spin down our nest egg, leaving our spouse in the poorhouse. So if you're a veteran and you want to know what VA benefits you're eligible for, I encourage you to sign up for our free 45-minute VA eligibility intake, where we sit down and we talk about these VA benefits we're going to discuss today. And we go through the eligibility requirements to make sure that you or your spouse is protected. And you can call our office at 380-9558. That's 380-9558. Also, this show is live, so if you have any questions along the way, you can call the show at 478-3116. Now, this benefit that I'm going to talk about is called the Non-Service Connected Disability Improved Pension Benefit with Aid and Attendance. Say that 3 times fast. I prefer Veteran Aid and Attendance. It's a lot more shorter and it's a lot easier to say. If you want to know where that's located, if you go into any VA hospital, VA clinic, they're going to hand you a VA benefit booklet. And it's about 200 plus pages, and it covers the whole universe of VA benefits. And this benefit that I could talk at length for, maybe an hour plus, only takes up 2 pages. So when I do that workshop at Sable House and Broadview Assisted Living next week, and I have 30 people there, and I ask them, have you heard about this benefit? Maybe 1 to 2 will raise their hands out of the 30, which just goes to show me that this benefit needs more real estate in the veteran benefits community and in the booklets. It's a huge benefit that really has helped many families been able to survive and afford assisted living and skilled nursing expenses. And let's talk about how do you become eligible. The VA is going to look at military, financial, and health to determine if you're eligible for these benefits that can be upwards of $25,000 a year tax-free. The first one is no dishonorable discharge. Luckily, I deal with very honorable men and women that served our country, so I don't typically run into this. The next one, though, is a very common, what I call a disqualifier. So many families automatically disqualify themselves for any VA benefits. They say, Andrew, I never served combat. I never served that long. I didn't serve 30 years like some of the families you help. Well, it's really surprising that you don't have to serve that long for this VA benefit. And when I talk about in my workshops, how long do you have to work these days to get a pension? People say 30 years, till age 65, till age 62, 10 years. I'm leaning more like never. It seems like most people are not getting pensions these days. It's because people are growing older, and it's hard to guarantee an age base that's continually expanding. But this benefit is very easy to qualify for. You only have to serve 90 days active service with at least 1 day during a wartime period. That's right, 90 days active service with at least 1 day during a wartime period. And we'll go over those wartime dates in just a few minutes, but it's very easy to find someone that served that long and at least 1 day during a wartime period. And I always like to joke, I mean, we've been in war since about 1812, so it's pretty easy to find at least 1 day in there. The next one is you have to be either disabled or over age 65. Most of the times when I get to helping families that are in assisted living or skilled nursing or need some home health care at home, they're over the age of 65, so that's a pretty easy one there. The next one is you have to have a medical need or help with your ADLs. ADLs stand for Activities of Daily Living. That's like meal preparation, transportation, medication management, financial management. And if you have an elder parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You may be already helping them with this, so they're probably meeting that medical need. The financial, they look at an income and the assets. Most families are under the income and the financial test because when you get to assisted living costs that cost $4,500, that really wipes out most of your income. So if you're just tuning into What Your Money Would Say, we're talking about VA benefits, in particular VA aid and attendance. And if you have any questions about your veterans benefits, be sure to call the show, 478-3116. That's 478-3116. And the phone lines are open. Now, in just a few minutes, we're going to talk about how much is this VA benefit. It really surprises families that they can be eligible for up to $25,000 a year tax-free for these VA benefits. We'll jump right into that in just a few minutes.
Today's financial landscape can be rough. One of the most important aspects of planning is choosing the right guide to help you navigate the road to retirement. Andrew McNair and the team at SWAN-Capital is dedicated to providing the very best service in the retirement planning industry today. SWAN-Capital is a full-service independent wealth management firm dedicated to providing guaranteed custom income plans that you cannot outlive. Contact Andrew McNair at SWAN-Capital 850-380-9558. That's 850-380-9558. The difference between SWAN-Capital and you retire once. We help people retire every day. You should be enjoying your retirement years, not letting worry keep you up at night. SWAN-Capital. Sleep well at night. Contact Andrew McNair at SWAN-Capital 850-380-9558. That's 850-380-9558. Again, that's 850-380-9558.
The Veteran Benefit Project, founded by Andrew McNair, president of SWAN-Capital, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping veterans and widows of veterans with long-term care expenses by qualifying for the VA's Aid and Attendance Benefit. Learn how to receive over $24,000 per year from the VA towards long-term health care. There is absolutely no fee associated with our assistance to the veteran, the widow of a veteran, their families, or any retirement community. Our goal is to preserve the dignity of the veteran and to reduce the dependency on the Medicaid system. Again, learn how to receive over $24,000 per year from the VA. Contact the Veteran Benefit Project 850-380-5137. That's 850-380-5137. 850-380-5137. Look us up on the web, myveteranbenefit.com. At the Veteran Benefit Project, we are committed to helping you secure the benefits you deserve.
Welcome back to What Your Money Would Say. If you're just tuning in to the show, today we're talking about Veteran Aid and Attendance, which is a fabulous benefit that's been able to help thousands of American veterans get benefits to help offset long-term care expenses. Because as you may already know, if you have an elder parent, long-term care expenses can get quite pricey. We're talking anywhere from $2,500 to $4,500 here locally in Pensacola. So when you get to this point in life, you're trying to find as many benefits as you're eligible for to help offset the cost. If you have any questions about your VA benefits, call us at 478-3116. That's 478-3116, and we'll answer your question live on the air. We just talked about the eligibility requirements. We understand that we have no dishonorable discharge, so you had to serve honorably. There's 5 different kinds of honorable discharges. As long as it's not dishonorable, you'll be fine. You only have to serve 90 days active service with at least 1 day during the wartime period. I want to make sure I go over those wartime service dates, because so many families say, Andrew, I got in at the tail end of World War II and I don't think I'm eligible. And it really surprises families that they actually extended dates to encapsulate all the soldiers that got in early or got in late. Now let me give you, for example, World War II. Anyone know when that ended? If you're a history buff out there, you might be saying, oh, 1945. And you're going to be exactly right. It ended around August 1945. Well, if you look at the wartime service dates, it shows that it actually did to 12/31/1946. And that's not a typo. What they did is they extended the dates to help make sure that veterans that got in late into the war were still covered by these very important benefits. And that benefit is Veteran Aid and Attendance. You also have to be disabled or over age 65, and you have to have a medical need of some sort, and we can talk about that in more detail soon. Also, what would I receive if I'm eligible for Veteran Aid and Attendance? Let's talk about the numbers. Well, they actually all just got an increase of 1.5%. So that's nice to know that these benefits actually keep up somewhat with inflation. There's 4 different benefit statuses. There's 4 different benefits total. And it ranges from a widow's benefit all the way up to a veteran spouse benefit. So what I'm going to do with you is go line by line to each one. The widow's benefit is $1,130 a month to help offset any assisted living, skilled nursing, or home health care for a widow of a wartime veteran, which equates to about $13,560 a year. So that's huge. Many times, about 70 to 80% of the time, the families I'm dealing with are widows that we're helping apply for these benefits, because it's really sad. They think once their husband passed away that they run out of benefits, that there's no more benefits that they're eligible for, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. So if your mother is a widow of a wartime veteran and your dad served in the military, or your stepdad, she could be eligible for up to $1,130. If you're a veteran single, which basically means you're a veteran and you were either never married or a widow yourself, you could be eligible for up to $1,758 to help offset those assisted living expenses. And let me tell you, $1,758 is almost half the cost. So it's a huge benefit, and that's why I speak to over 25 communities across Pensacola, Mobile, and Tallahassee. If you times that by 12, that's over $21,000 a year that the VA pays to a veteran that's either never married or single. Now, there's a veteran and spouse benefit that is humongous for veterans and spouses that both move into a community and both need care. They'll pay up to $2,085 a month to help offset that care, and that equates to $25,000 a year. Now, most families say, well, Andrew, that benefit sounds fantastic, but won't I have to pay a lot more taxes? This is about the last thing that's tax-free in this world. It's all tax-free. So if they receive the $1,130, it's tax-free to that widow, which is just a very good assurance that they won't have to pay more taxes on April 15th, because none of us want to. So again, if you're a wartime veteran and are over age 65, you probably either are eligible for these benefits or will be in the future. And that's why I want to encourage you to sign up for our free 45-minute VA eligibility intake, where we sit down with a family and we go through the eligibility requirements and then compare it to your personal situation to make sure that you're eligible. And you can call our office at 380-9558. That's 380-9558. And you can call right now and give them your information and make sure that someone follows up with you on Monday to schedule that VA eligibility intake. Now, if you just say, hey, Andrew, I just have a quick question that I want to give to you on the air, call us at 478-3116. That's 478-3116. Now, I do want to share with you a few stats about these benefits, because I think they're really startling about the disconnect between what VA benefits are available and what is actually being received. This is actually taken from a VA study on VA benefits. It says that nearly 2 million veterans or their widows are likely missing out on as much as $22 billion a year in pension income. That means that Congress has set aside $22 billion to help offset these expenses for wartime veterans and their spouses. The problem is that it doesn't end up in the hands that they set it out for. And you understand, the government, they set aside money, and if they don't spend it, they lose it. So they find ways to spend that. And what I like to ask people is, do you think the government is a good money manager? Most people say absolutely not. So I want to make sure that those $22 billion ends up in the hands of the veterans that serve our country very valiantly. And I believe that freedom isn't free, and it comes at a cost. And these funds were set aside to make sure that veterans retire with dignity. So if you have a loved one, and that's a veteran or a widow of a veteran, and want to make sure they're eligible for VA benefits, call for your free 45-minute VA eligibility intake at our office at SWAN-Capital, and that's 380-5137. That's 380-5137. So back to these stats. This is, again, we've already kind of shared with you this ahead of time, that widows are hit the hardest by these long-term care expenses. Once their husband or spouse passes away, sometimes they lose out on pension income. They lose out their Social Security, and now they're living on just his Social Security. So any added benefit can really help offset these expenses that they incur in assisted living or skilled nursing or home health care. So that $1,130 can really help out a widow in her time of need. And also, this VA study shows that only 1 in 7 widows who could qualify for this benefit actually receive the checks. So if I have a room full of 7 widows, 6 widows are missing out on this benefit. And I honestly think that's just a tragedy, because without them protecting the home front, our veterans, men or women, both, could not serve our country. So it's important that these widows are compensated for helping protect the home front. So back to the benefit amounts. If you're eligible for veteran aid and attendance, let me go over those amounts one more time. The widow's benefit is $1,130 a month. That's over $13,000 a year to help offset assisted living or home health care expenses. Also, there's a veteran single benefit. This is if a veteran is either never married or single. He could be eligible for up to $1,758 to help offset his expenses there at the community. That equates to a little over $21,000 a year for that family. And that's tax-free, $21,000 for a veteran. A veteran and spouse benefit. This is basically if a veteran and a spouse both need care. They don't have to live in the same place. We could have a veteran that's living at home getting care, and the spouse is maybe in a nursing home. They could be eligible for up to $2,085 to help offset their costs. And all these benefits just went up January 1st at 1.5%. So they do keep up with the cost of living adjustments. So if you want to call for your free 45-minute VA eligibility intake, I want to give you that number again. That's 850-380-9558. That's 380-9558. And if you have any questions about your situation, you want to ask that live on the air, you can call the studio at 478-3116. That's 478-3116. I want to give you an example, kind of toot our own horn, if you will, about how we were able to help a veteran in the Mobile area. And his story is just why I do it, why I help families with these VA benefits, because it really fills your tank when someone that is 92 years old, living in a community, and is running out of money. You know, they only have a few $100,000, but they're spending it down so quickly that they get worried about running out of money. And isn't that a tragedy? Someone that served our country honorably is worrying about money and worrying about running out of money in his 90s. So we were eligible to help them get $1,758 a month tax-free to help pay for those expenses.
Okay, hold on just a second.
And it took about 6 months, and this benefit is retroactive. He got a check for over $10,000.
Fred, okay.
$10,000 to help offset those expenses he's been paying for over a year at the assisted living. So for that person, it was a life-changing moment, and it really has placed him on cloud nine. He's literally told everybody in the community about us and what we were able to do for him. And that was free at no charge. We didn't charge him to do that. It was just a community outreach that we do. But we do have a question from Fred. Fred, welcome to What Your Money Would Say.
Hey, I have a mother that's 83 years of age. My father passed away 15 years ago. He was a veteran during the Korean conflict. Would that make him eligible for any funds?
Well, Fred, how old did you say she was?
She's 83. 83.
What they're going to look at, and we shared with a little bit early in the show, they're going to look at military, financial, and health. So military, you had to serve at least 90 days active service with at least 1 day during a wartime period. So if he served that 90 days during the Korean conflict, he never had to go over there, Fred, then he meets that. We can jump into the financial, but since we're live on the air, I probably wouldn't do that with your situation. And I'll encourage you to, at the end, sign up for that intake. But let's look at health. They're also going to look at how much ADLs that she has, activities of daily living. So if she's getting home health care at home, or you're helping her out with transportation, medication, maybe looking at assisted living or skilled nursing, yeah, she'll be eligible.
Okay, because she is potentially going to end up in assisted living here soon. She's spending 6 months of the year at my home and 6 months of the year at my brother's home, but eventually we get to the point where we can't take care of her fully.
Sure. So, well, Fred, she sounds like a great candidate. And what I'll do is I'll give you my phone number at the office, and you can call my VP of Operations, and she can schedule that 45-minute VA eligibility intake. That's 380-5137.
Okay, very good. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Thanks for the question, Fred.
Bye now.
So if you're just tuning into What Your Money Would Say, we're talking about veteran aid and attendance. It's a benefit that's been around since 1951. It's not a new benefit. Some people say, did Obama create it or did Bush create it? No, it's been around for a long time, and I think it's here to stay for a lot longer because as baby boomers and more veterans retire every day, they're going to need help with long-term care expenses, and that's one thing that Obamacare doesn't cover. So what is your plan to help take care of long-term care expenses? Well, I'm providing families kind of an option that they may or may not know about, and that's called Veteran Aid and Attendance. It's a benefit that pays up to $2,085 a month tax-free to help offset those expenses. And what the VA is going to do is they're going to look at the eligibility requirements. They're going to look at military, financial, and health. And then if that person meets those eligibility requirements, they're eligible, and they will pay those benefits for the rest of their life. So it's a very substantial benefit that's helped many families retire with dignity. We'll be right back, and we're going to talk a little bit more about those stats and make sure that you can take some action, and we'll talk about that VA eligibility intake and what that would look like.
Today's financial landscape can be rough. One of the most important aspects of planning is choosing the right guide to help you navigate the road to retirement. Andrew McNair and the team at SWAN-Capital is dedicated to providing the very best service in the retirement planning industry today. SWAN-Capital is a full-service independent wealth management firm dedicated to providing guaranteed custom income plans that you cannot outlive. Contact Andrew McNair at SWAN-Capital 850-380-9558. That's 850-380-9558. The difference between SWAN-Capital and you retire once. We help people retire every day. You should be enjoying your retirement years, not letting worry keep you up at night. SWAN-Capital. Sleep well at night. Contact Andrew McNair at SWAN-Capital 850-380-9558. That's 850-380-9558. Again, that's 850-380-9558.
The Veteran Benefit Project, founded by Andrew McNair, president of SWAN-Capital, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping veterans and widows of veterans with long-term care expenses by qualifying for the VA's Aid and Attendance Benefit. Learn how to receive over $24,000 per year from the VA towards long-term health care. There is absolutely no fee associated with our assistance to the veteran, the widow of a veteran, their families, or any retirement community. Our goal is to preserve the dignity of the veteran and to reduce the dependency on the Medicaid system. Again, learn how to receive over $24,000 per year from the VA. Contact the Veteran Benefit Project 850-380-5137. That's 850-380-5137. 850-380-5137. Look us up on the web, myveteranbenefit.com. At the Veteran Benefit Project, we are committed to helping you secure the benefits you deserve.
Welcome back to What Your Money Would Say. I'm your host, Andrew McNair. In today's topic, we're talking about veteran aid and attendance, a crucial benefit to help offset your loved one or you and your spouse's long-term care expenses. And I talked about why it's so important. Why is a financial advisor talking about VA benefits? Well, I believe it's my duty, especially in a community as Pensacola and Mobile with a community that's just full of veterans, men and women that served our country honorably. I want to make sure that they retire with dignity. I want to make sure that they don't spend down their nest egg and make sure that they pass on the legacy that they always intended. And instead of just running out of money in assisted living and skilled nursing, they don't have to. There's benefits that were created to help offset those expenses. And let's face it, long-term care expenses are expensive. They're anywhere from $2,500 to $4,500 just for assisted living, and they're increasing 5 to 8% a year. So if you want to find out if your family member is eligible for $2,085 a month tax-free, sign up for our VA eligibility intake. It's 45 minutes, and we'll sit down and we'll go through those eligibility requirements and compare it to your personal situation to make sure that you're eligible. You can call our office at 850-380-9558. That's 850-380-9558. We look forward to seeing you next time on What Your Money Would Say.